Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down big topics into clear, digestible explainers.
AI is just everywhere, right? It's making decisions for us, about us, and sometimes even without us. And it's reshaping our world at a dizzying pace. So that leaves us with a huge question. In this new reality, who's actually writing the rules?
But before we can get to the new rulebook, we have to understand the old landscape. I mean, why do we even need rules? Well, because right now, in so many ways, AI feels a little bit like the Wild West.
Just think about it for a second. We're dealing with decisions being made inside what's basically a black box, with zero transparency. We have systems that can literally change their own behavior as they learn and operate. And if something goes wrong, good luck getting a clear explanation. These aren't just little tech glitches. These are massive challenges that raise huge questions about fairness, safety, and security.
So, in response to this really complex and super fast-moving landscape, some of the world's most established standards bodies have stepped in with a formal solution.
The groups stepping up to the plate are ISO, that's the International Organization for Standardization, and the IEC, the International Electrotechnical Commission. Now, here's a really key thing to understand. These aren't governments making laws. They're global, independent bodies that bring experts together from all over the world to create voluntary, consensus-based standards that industries can then choose to adopt.
And the result of all their work is this, ISO/ISC 42001. It was released in December 2023, and it marks a huge milestone. This is the world's very first international standard for managing AI systems.
So let's be super clear here. This isn't some restrictive law handed down by a government. A better way to think about it is as a blueprint or a framework. It's something that any organization, whether they're developing AI, providing AI services, or just using AI, can implement to build and, just as importantly, demonstrate a responsible approach.
Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but what does building an AI management system actually mean in practice? Let's break down how it actually works.
So, what is this system? Well, the first thing to know is that it is not a simple checklist. This is not a tick a few boxes and you're done kind of deal. Not at all. Instead, it's a dynamic cycle, a way for organizations to constantly manage, evaluate, and improve how they handle AI. This is a pretty classic and proven management approach, which we can simplify into a four-step cycle. You plan, you do, you check, and you act. It's a continuous loop, and it's all designed for constant learning and constant improvement. Everything kicks off with the plan phase. This is where an organization really has to formally identify and assess all the potential risks and, on the flip side, the opportunities that come with their specific use of AI systems. And here's where it gets really, really interesting. The standard forces a dual perspective on risk. It's not just about the risks to the company's bottom line, it also demands an assessment of the impact on the outside world, on people, and on society as a whole. That's a huge deal.
Next up is the do phase. And this is where the rubber meets the road. It's all about actually implementing the controls, the policies, and the processes that you designed back in the planning stage to manage all those risks you identified.
Of course, a plan is totally useless if you don't know if it's effective, right? So the check phase requires organizations to consistently monitor and measure their system's performance. This includes doing things like internal audits to verify that everything is running exactly the way it was designed to.
And finally, we close the loop with ACT. Based on the results and all the data you gathered in the check phase, the organization takes action. They address any issues and they make continual improvements to the AI management system. And then, the entire cycle starts all over again.
And this isn't just some high-level idea. The actual standard is incredibly comprehensive. It creates a framework that touches every single part of an organization, from top-level leadership and planning, all the way down to the nuts and bolts of daily operations. Okay, so we've got this detailed cyclical framework, but what does this all add up to? Let's kind of zoom out and look at why a global standard like this is so important for the future of AI. Well, this kind of single, global standard has benefits all across the board. For businesses, it's a clear roadmap for responsible innovation. For all of us in society, it pushes for trustworthy AI by forcing companies to address fairness and safety. And for everyone, it creates a common language, a shared vocabulary for managing this powerful new technology. You know, having this global rulebook is a massive, foundational step forward in taming the algorithm. But because it's voluntary, it leaves us with a really crucial question for the future. Is a framework like this enough to ensure AI is developed and used responsibly,
Or is this just the first step towards more binding rules down the road? A lot is riding on that answer.